Ron Harris here for Muscular Development, coverage of the 2020 Olympia weekend in Orlando. Let's do that again. Ron Harris here for Muscular Development, coverage of the 2020 Olympia weekend in Orlando, brought to you by High-Tech Pharmaceuticals. Finally, joined by my man, Big Mike Cox, originally from Cleveland, now living in this sunshine state of Florida. So good to have you, Mike, so good.
Dude, this is like a dream come true. 2020 has sucked for the most part,
Yes.
but this right here, all of this, it's a meathead's paradise. It made up for a crappy 2020.
Agreed, man. I mean, this show, we were all worried it wasn't even going to happen. It got moved 5 weeks ago from Las Vegas to Orlando. Props to Jake Wood, Dan Solomon, Tamarel Gundy, everyone who made this happen in such a short amount of time. Let's get into it. We just had the first day of judging. Now, of course, tonight there's going to be the Mr. Olympia judging. If you guys want to get the full schedule so you don't keep messaging me on Instagram asking me, it is MrOlympia.com. So that's when you know when things are going to happen. But this morning we had fitness, 212, figure, women's physique, and Ms. Olympia. Did I miss anything? Yeah, 5 divisions. So let's start off with fitness. They just do the physique part of it in the daytime. We didn't see any routines, but based on just the physiques, the reigning champ, 2-time champ Whitney Jones was being compared very, very closely to the this year's Arnold champ, Missy Truscott. We love Missy's got. She's like she could do well in any physique category. She's got such a great physique on her. But so we haven't seen routines or anything. We know they're going to have phenomenal routines. But how do you see them comparing physique-wise?
As of right now, Missy's Fitness Olympia. Her physique is light and day ahead of, no disrespecting the other girls, the Whitney, but Missy has those wide cap shoulders, the small waist. She wasn't shredded. She had a good combination of fullness and condition. She just got a beautiful look, man. Whitney wasn't as wide or as full in the upper body. Her legs were lean, but not as full. Oksana, she always places lower in the physique round. But the history of her is coming back to win the fitness round. So, but for me right now, Missy is the fitness Olympic champion. But again, we got to judge tonight. They all have great routines. They all have phenomenal routines. But Missy just blew me away, man.
You know, we say this, both Mike and I say this all the time. We have so much respect for the fitness competitors because they're the only ones who actually have to do a full athletic type of routine. The other ones are just posing. These women are going to be flipping around. I've seen girls tear their hamstrings, their calves, rip out their shoulder joints on stage. The stuff they do is incredible, and they have to be dieted down and dry and hard and still look pretty. It's unbelievable. Anyway, let's move on to showcase of this morning was the 212. That's what all us meatheads were waiting to see. So the big rematch we thought was going to happen didn't really turn out to happen. We thought it was going to be Kamal versus Derek Lunsford again. Man, Sean Clarita, the giant killer. Damn, did he come out of, I wouldn't say he came out of nowhere. He was 3rd place last year, but when he came out this year, he was so much bigger and fuller and still kept a tiny waist. Condition was still crazy. A lot of people, me included, and we like sound like a broken record saying no disrespect to. It's never personal, guys. We have so much respect for all these competitors, and we're friendly with some of them and everything, but it doesn't matter. We're just talking about physiques. Man, I have Sean Clarita winning this thing.
Sean Clarita won the show. When he walked out, his front relax reminds you of Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
At all of 183 pounds with clothes on.
Yeah.
He can grow into this class, but his condition was on point. He was full. His back double bicep, he's got so much muscle on that frame with that crisp conditioning. It wasn't close. Now, Kamal is phenomenal. He was bigger than last year.
Yep.
He didn't have that lean, dry physique he had last year. If you would have brought that in, it would have been a different show. But Clarita was 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, bro. That dude brought it. He works hard. He's gotten better every year. Every show, he gets better. So, again, they judge tonight. But for me, even if he gets drier tonight, it's only going to enhance his physique. And again, too, those pictures, look at the pictures. It's not exactly the same. When he walked out live, I was just like, it's a wrap.
Now, we know, being long-time fans of the sport, we know the reigning champ always has an advantage. Yeah. He's the champ. And Kamal, I think he looks pretty damn close last year condition-wise. I don't think he's off by maybe a hair. So if Kamal keeps his title, guys, don't go screaming it was bullshit, it was politics. It's not politics. It's just the way it goes. The reigning champ has to be off or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if Sean's going to be warded or not. We'll see, because there's also confirmation round tonight. He could get a little worse. Kamal could get a little better. You never know.
No.
So let's move on to what I have in solid place. Debut in the 212, but he was third place 3 years in a row in classic physique. George the Bull Peterson. Man, George is a great 212, just like we always thought he would be. I know Justin and George we had, I wouldn't say nothing like beef, nothing like that, but there was a little bit of discomfort because I had made many statements like, I don't like this guy in classic.
Right.
And I said all the time, it's not that I don't think has a great physique, but it would be so much better suited to 212, fill out a little more, because he's 5'8".
Yeah.
So he did that. We saw him, we were at the Tampa Pro, that was his debut. He looked really good, not as sharp as we were expected,
Right.
and they corrected all that. I mean, I was super impressed with George Peterson.
George, he didn't look out of place. People were saying, oh, he's too tall. He fit in. Like when you saw him on stage with other guys, he was a little bit taller, but he's so complete, man. He's a hybrid. You know what I mean? You don't see a guy that's 5'8" in a 212 class, but his back double biceps phenomenal, abs, condition. He belongs. This is a great Olympia debut for him, right? He's not out of place. I think he may be a little bit better than Tampa. They fixed whatever issues were there. Like you said, he wasn't 100%. He was good enough to win, right? But George belongs, man. This dude, I think going forward, like we can see 3 or 4 guys that can kind of rotate this title. Like I don't see one guy holding on to this for like Flex Lewis did.
Right.
This is going to be guys every year. They got to judge who's best that day, and George is one of those guys that can win this title.
And I've already commented on Derek in 2 other 212 wrap-ups I've done. Actually 3, I did 1 by myself. So I'm going to leave this one mostly to you, because right now, as it stands, the way he looked today, I have him in 4th place. From the back, I thought he looked pretty damn great. But from the front, to me, he looked smaller, depleted, flat, didn't have that roundness, none of the pop that I wanted to see from him. And I feel terrible because I know he worked so hard for this show. It's been his whole, over a year now. So talk to me about Derek.
Derek is an open bodybuilder. He's an open physique. He's an open bodybuilder. He was his upper body from the front looked a little flattish.
Yeah.
He didn't have that pop that Clarita did, that Kamal does. From the back, he looked good. His legs were peeled, but they weren't as big. He showed me his legs in Tampa, right? He was 225, 230. They already had striations at that weight. So a 225-pound Derek is a scary bodybuilder, but he's got to suck down to make weight. It's just hard. He loses that fullness. We all see his pictures online, and those pictures are visually impressive. Those 230 pictures that he posted, that's some crazy stuff. But having to come down to make 212, it's just not, it doesn't work for his body, I don't think. Great kid, man. I love the dude's phenomenal. He's always been friendly and cordial. He busts his ass, right? He wants this title. But I think going forward, he may need to have take a pass on this, do the Flex Lewis thing, go to the open, fulfill your potential, and live up to what your expectations,
Because I don't know if he's ever destined to be a 212 Olympia champion, just because, again, I saw him a couple times this year. I saw him in Nashville area at the Brandon's gym opening, and I was like, I think he was 230, 235 at that time. Like, geez, he doesn't look that far off now. Anyway, so that's what I had. That's our top 4. Here's where I started getting a little iffy. I don't know who to put ahead of who between Ahmad Ashkenani and Angel Calderon Frias. Neither one of them has the most beautiful shape and symmetry, but they're little tanks.
Yes.
They're little freaks. Who would you have beating who?
Ashkenani was improved from last year. His back was leaner and drier. He still doesn't have that separation in his quads though. But Angel is I like his look better than Ashkenani because of the legs. But Angel, his upper body, his front double bicep and lat spread, his chest is out to here. He looks like Dolly Parton. He's just absolutely insane. I'd have him in 4th, but that Russian guy, he really impressed me. He was, his back was huge.
What Russian guy? Oh, Ole.
Yeah. That guy I thought should have been compared. I would like to see him next to Lunsford and Ashkenani, but maybe they didn't put him next to them. I'm not sure how that works, but that dude impressed the hell out of me. He deserved more love.
Yeah. This is the Olympia, and some of these guys have a lot of fans on their own, and their guy didn't get the first call out, and they're screaming it's bullshit, it's politics. Guys, you got to understand, these are the very best in the world. The very best bodybuilders in the world that can make that weight 212. So there are guys who will probably place 10th, 11th, 12th. Dave Henry didn't get much of a look. I thought David looked freaking phenomenal
He
today.
looked great, man. He's got that old man muscle. He's so thick. You can't ignore him when he's in that lineup, but we're nitpicking. You're really picking these guys apart. They're all great. You know what I mean? They're all phenomenal, but you only have one winner. And David Henry looked great, man. He's a former top 10 Open Olympia guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, you got to like narrow it down. The judges do the best job they can, but it's close, man. These guys are all phenomenal.
People talk crap about the judges. None of you would want their jobs. I don't want that job. Even if they fed me well, I still wouldn't want that. And let me go potty when I need to go potty. So let's move on to figure. Sydney Gillen. I don't know, how many of these does she have now?
4, maybe. I think 4.
Okay, she's probably got 5 now.
Yeah.
I didn't see it close. They had her in the middle. They didn't move her around. They moved everyone else around her. I don't even remember who was. This is no disrespect. I don't follow figure as well as I should. There's a few that I just like the way they looked. Jessica Reyes-Padilla, whatever. But who did you see being close to her at all, if anyone?
Nobody was really close to her. Nadia Watts, she's smaller. She wasn't as conditioned as she was last year. I thought,
yeah.
This girl, she's about 5 ounces from being a women's physique competitor.
Wow.
Her glutes are shredded, beautiful shape. She might be a little too big for this class, so she may be a solid 4th. I think Jessica Padilla should have got more love. I would have had her maybe stand next to Cindy a little bit, just to compare them, because Jessica's presentation, when she comes out, all eyes are drawn towards her, and she's got the wide shoulders, small waist, condition. She wasn't too shredded, but Cindy's she's just good. You know what I mean? Latoria wasn't her best today. Her shape's phenomenal, but the condition wasn't there. Again, these girls, all year long though, these girls have been lean. This show, they're not as shredded for some reason. I don't know if they were told to maybe like soften up, but you don't see that kind of craziness we saw in Tampa or at the New York Pro. But Cindy's it's another title.
Figure was never meant to be like that anyway. I don't know how or why it started getting to the point where you see striated glutes.
Yeah. No.
I'm sorry, figure you shouldn't see striated glutes. That's too far, the condition. You want that, put a little more muscle and go to women's physique. But anyway, which takes us to women's physique. So Shanique Grant, I think she's got 2 titles, so today she'll have 3. She actually looked downsized to me, more streamlined, and I don't know if that was something she was told to do or she decided to do or whatever. Normally that's a bad idea in a division where muscle size does play a big factor, but she still seems to have it pretty well wrapped up to me.
This girl is just phenomenal. But there are no adjectives to describe how good she is, and she hasn't even tapped her potential yet. When she gets at 27, 28, when she's at maturity, it's done. Wide waist, small shoulders. Small waist, wide shoulders. Her back actually looked phenomenal. People criticize her back double bicep, but that looked phenomenal. Her glutes were in, wasn't as big, but again, she doesn't have to be. She doesn't have to be huge. She knows where she needs to be. John Meadows worked with her this year, so you knew she was going to look good. I was kind of worried heading to the show because she wasn't as lean as far out, but all of a sudden, it just phenomenal. But Sarah looked good. Sarah's phenomenal.
Sarah Villegas, guys, very, very strong second place, I think.
And she looks good. It's just Shanique. Gaspari'd have 3 Olympias if it wasn't for Haney. Sarah and Natalia would have some wins if it wasn't for Shanique. Natalia has such a beautiful combination of.
Natalia Abraham Coelho, we're talking about.
Yeah.
One of 3 Brazilians in the first call out of 6 women, by the way.
She's phenomenal. But again, you run into a genetically better athlete. It happens. It's like when Ohio State plays Michigan. We're better. It's just better. Had to get in there. Sorry, Derek.
College football talk, guys. Daniele Castillo was also in that call out. Ivy Rain.
Ivy, yes.
And I can't recall. There was someone else.
Someone else was really good, too.
They were all good, guys. But Shanique, congrats. I think you got another one wrapped up.
Yeah.
Are we on to Ms. Olympia now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So women's bodybuilding is back, the Ms. Olympia. Unfortunately, guys, we did not see the return of Iris Kyle. I think it's already out there, so I'm not making rumors or anything. She had to withdraw from the show. I think she had to go to the ER. I'm not even going to speculate. And a lot of times when these athletes, they dehydrate to get that extra bit of sharpness and dryness. And, human body's not meant to be 1% body fat with no water. It's just, you might be able to hold it for a few hours if you're lucky. But anyway, very disappointed because, damn, we were all looking for. She's a 10-time champ. We haven't seen her on stage in 7 years, 6 or 7 years, and I'm so bummed she wasn't there. So before we even talk about that, are you also?
It sucked because Iris is Iris, man. She's one of her and Len are the greatest of all time. And, you know, her in this lineup would have added to it because these girls are phenomenal to begin with. You want to see the best compete against the best. So it sucks that she's not here. We didn't find out until like literally right before the prejudging started. So hopefully she's okay. But again, it's hard on the body, man. It is, especially you've been away for so long. It's not as easy as it when you're in that groove every single year doing the Arnold and the Miss Olympia. So hopefully she's okay and maybe come back next year.
Get well, Iris. You were missed. We were all looking forward to seeing you. So that left the door open. And you know what? It's too bad because I would have loved to seen this new, I don't know how new she is. I never heard of her until this year. Andrea Shaw. She just won the big Wings of Strength Rising Phoenix show a couple weeks ago. And man, I think regardless if Iris had shown up or not, she would have given her a real run for the money. She's lacking nothing. Crazy back, calves on her. I mean, everything. She's got that X frame. They had her in the middle. They didn't move around too much. They moved others around her. There were other women like this Margie Marvelous and Mela Ash and was that Helly Trevino? Yeah, there were certainly some incredible women up in that first call out. But Andrea Shaw, standout.
And your eyes are drawn to Andrea. You know, I was looking at Helly and looking at Margie. Margie's huge. You have different physiques, okay? Margie's huge, Helly's huge. Andrea's not as big, but she got that Flex Wheeler type shape. And you can't take your eyes off of her. Her condition's phenomenal. She's full, tiny waist. You know, Helly's big. She's not as crisp as we've seen her before. And Margie is just a freak, man. And that's a compliment in our world. That's a compliment. But, you know, I think Andrea's got that perfect combination of size, symmetry. She's just going to be hard. She's going to be very difficult to beat tonight.
Also in that group was Monique Jones, the first group, and Irene Anderson.
Yes.
They all look great. It was the Ms. Olympia came back strong. Not a weak lineup. It's just as strong as any of the lineups I remember from back in the day. So I just wish Iris had been there. I really, really wanted to see her. But can't have it all.
No, listen, man, in a perfect world, we would have Flex Lewis here, Iris Kyle, Nathan DeAsha, but it doesn't take away from how good these girls look. Props to Jake Wood for bringing this back because this has been a long time coming. It's not a niche sport. This belongs to our sport, right? These girls belong on stage. They deserve the prize money. So I'm really glad to have like the Olympia back to normal.
So that'll wrap it up. For the judging on day one, we have finals for all those divisions tonight, plus judging for the Mr. Olympia. I know you guys are all on the edge of your seats for the Mr. Olympia Open. That's going to start tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Heck, our cameraman is always messing with us when we're doing these. It's Hector. Look at him. Anyway, so guys, please head over to the musculardevelopment.com website, the Noble Forums. We're doing a play-by-play. It's the top thread there. It's called 2020 Olympia Play-by-Play. I've been taking pictures, putting up all the great comparison shots. You can judge for yourself who you think should be winning. It's all up there now because I'm able to get those up instantly. And Mike's been doing play-by-play commentary on all the divisions because, you know, one person can't do both of them. So thank you, Mike, for doing that. Appreciate it.
Honor to be here.
So guys, check that out. You can agree, disagree. It's a good place to have discussions about these things because outside of our little world, nobody really cares. So this is your chance to really discuss and debate and get into it with other real people with a real passion for it. So we'll be back tonight, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys watching, and that's it. Thanks for being part of this. Check out our YouTube channel, Muscular Development, as we continue to upload videos. And for High Tech Pharmaceuticals, thanks for sponsorship. We'll see you in a few. Bye.